curious, just when you've been watching film on Duke this week, especially in a shortened week, what are some things that stand out about the way they defend or they defended, some of the teams they've played in their previous games this year compared to maybe what other teams do against you guys?
They have a lot of different schemes that they run. So kind of every game they've been trying different people at different places, different matchups. So we've been working with Coach March. We have our game plan. So we're kind of ready for whatever they throw at us. And then we'll have some stuff that we're gonna do that hopefully works pretty well.
Is it more difficult to prepare for a team that like doesn't have a consistent look like that? Like where they're trying to like switch things up every game. Does that make it more difficult to like try and guess essentially or like try and predict what they're going to do?
Yeah. I mean, we usually like to focus on kind of what we're doing. So it's not as much as how the defense plays it. It's more of, how we're going to go out there and run our offense and then make in-game adjustments with Coach March and Coach Desco.
Great. Thank you.
Cameron, then Roshan.
Hey, Brendan. Last season, you guys ended number one when the season ended, and then Duke kind of stole the offseason headlines with all the grad transfers. They came in number one in the country. Do you guys see this as an opportunity to make a statement to say, hey, we were number one last year. This is our spot?
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's thinking about it exactly like that, but, it sure does make sense. This is such a big game regardless. Syracuse Duke, every year I've had here, it's been an unbelievable game, going right down to the wire. And then obviously two, big opponents, top five matchup. So yeah, under the lights, we'll be fired up for it regardless of all the extra stuff.
And you and Jamie Trimboli both have experience scoring game winners against Duke. Does that experience give you any boost of confidence going into Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, I think having such an experienced group to begin with is huge. And then, we know we can win in close games. We have a bunch of other guys too that'll, have an opportunity if it's, a tie game or we need a goal late that, we can go to pretty much anyone on the field to score that. So yeah, we're very confident in our game plan.
Thanks, Brendan.
Roshan?
Hey, Brendan. I wanted to ask about the invert because Coach was talking about how you've been working with Coach March on sort of changing it up, kind of like you mentioned, not showing up with the same thing every game. I guess, like, what's kind of the game plan when it comes to inverting for Duke?
Yeah, we have our invert packages and that rarely changes. If you get a shorty, you go behind. So we'll just see what they throw at us and then kind of figure it out from there. We don't want to predetermine too many things, especially with the team as talented as them. If we start scripting stuff, that it won't look as pretty and we won't be as creative when we're on the field. So kind of just, using our experience and getting to the right spots and trusting Coach March.
Yeah. So is that kind of a conversation you guys have throughout the games, like on the sideline, like, hey, let's invert now, or let's do this now? Like, how does that sort of pan out?
Yeah, he'll definitely, and we can hear him from the sideline telling us what to do. He's got a pretty loud coach's voice. So we hear him, and then, if certain matchups, play out, then we'll take it behind, or if it's late in the shot clock. There's a lot of, circumstances where I read invert.
I feel like typically you guys, start out with the regular offense and you move to the invert if it's not working. Am I mistaken about that, or is that kind of how you felt like the season has been going?
Yeah. No, and I wouldn't even say that it's, when the offense is stalling. I think it's just like we actually call it a different offense that we just kind of run when, we need a spark, or it's, again, late in the shot clock. It's just an easy, almost set play to run, try and get a quick one or something.
More questions for Brendan?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Is that okay, Tyler? Sorry, didn't raise my hand. Yeah, as somebody who appreciates great offensive play with opponents, I know maybe you don't necessarily scout Michael Sowers that much, but you're aware of him, you watch him. What stood out to you about him at Princeton, and what stands out to you about him at Duke?
I mean, he's so quick. He draws so many slides, and then obviously he can feed the ball. So that's something that, obviously our coaches are aware of, and then us watching him. He's very dynamic. He can dodge from up top, behind, pretty much anywhere. So he's definitely a good matchup, one that you want to be playing. And, it's a good test, so we'll see.
Thanks.
Cameron, then Roshan.
Brendan, not really a lacrosse question, but I've noticed on Instagram some of your teammates like linking and interacting with a Instagram food account that it seems like you run. Do you run that account?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to tell us how that started and kind of what you're about with that?
Yeah, that was I started cooking like probably 2 years ago. And then, there's just so much free time now, classes online and stuff. So I was like, hey, may as well just make an Instagram page. And they all my roommates just think it's funny and, like commenting, and we make food together a lot. So throwing it up on there has been fun. Just, seeing what my mom eats it up. So it's been fun.
Are you like the in-house chef for a lot of your roommates? Like, were you doing this before you started, and then it was like
Usually it's just for me, maybe like one other person, and then but sometimes like on the weekends we'll do like a big thing. Like last weekend we did like a bunch of steaks. So yeah, it's been fun.
Roshan?
Yeah, then I gotta ask, what's your favorite thing to cook, or what's your go-to?
My favorite thing to cook is probably steak. I would say it's the most fun. I've been
Gotcha.
doing a lot of bread, but as far as food, I would definitely say steak.
Yeah. Okay. And then I wanted to ask about Coach March was saying, you guys have been working a lot on transition defense, especially since the Army loss in the season opener. From the offensive side of things, how have you watched your defensive unit kind of evolve and improve this season?
Yeah. I mean, they're just so athletic and experienced that, one game isn't going to write the story. So we knew that, after one game, we usually have scrimmages, not making excuses, but, once we get that real in-game experience under our belt, that we'd start clicking, and they certainly have. And then we just have some beasts that can run up and down the field. And then when you have Porter in that, makes everything a lot easier.
So we got time for one or two more before Mitch hops on, if anybody's got them. Otherwise, we'll let Brendan hop off here.